Happy Sunday, everyone. I am going to attempt to show you, this is Katie, Scrappin' Katie, and I'm going to attempt to show you this tunnel shadow box card. I watched several tutorials last night that Jennifer McGuire did, and I really just fell in love with this top fold one, so I'm going to do that today. I'm going to show you making some of our compliments, our prickly pear line that's on clearance on my website right now, and you can shop at scrappinkatie.ctmh.com. Hit the clearance button on the left bottom and you'll find those for $1.75. That's it. So I purchased quite a few of those, and I'm gonna just make a card, limited stamping, and see how that turns out on the tunnel. I thought it would be cute with the cactus, the flowers and stuff like that. So here are the measurements of the cardstock pieces and the B&T that I'll be using, if you want to screenshot that right quick. So I'm going to start scoring my pieces, so let's get started. I'm just using my Martha Stewart score pad, whatever it's called. And this is, let me trim this down to 11 inches. As you can see, this is a dark blue color. It's our sapphire. And this is I'm going to use this for the actual base of the card. So I'm just going to score at 5.5. So when you fold this up, basically you've got a standard size card base. It's just a top fold. But what I am going to do is I'm going to trim just off one of the ends. I'm going to trim an inch. I mean half an inch. I'm going to trim a half an inch. So I've got a shorter side, longer side. So I just trimmed a half an inch off of that. And you'll see why here in a second. Oops. Didn't mean to get rid of that. So then here's my other 4 1/4 by 11 piece. And that looks a little larger than 4 1/4, but it's not. Okay, might be why my scores never add up. That 4 1/4 over here just really isn't lining up. Okay, so this is actually going to make the inside box portion, and so you're going to score it at half an inch, 5.5, and 6. Again, score it half an inch, 5.5, and 6 inches. And if you see, once you kind of fold those, and you can use your bone folder to kind of make those creases a little more prominent. I'm not going to do that right now. But if you'll see it, it's starting to come together as a square, as a box. Okay, so then my piece that's 4 1/4 by 5.5, I decided I'm going to use B&T, and this is from our Fundamentals line. And you're going to score it, I want the yellow side to show, so I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to score it at 1/4 inch, and then turn it around and score it at 1/4 inch. Believe it or not, when Jennifer said this, I thought, well, I'll just score it at 1/4 and 5 1/4. But believe it or not, when you actually rotate it and score it, it makes a difference. And I don't know why. It just does. So we've got that one, and that's going to kind of be the inside, that inside layer. Let me get my card. So that's going to be this inside layer. And then this white piece that we just did is this big layer. And I just happened to cover that white with some B&T. And so that's it on the scoring. Okay, so now is to find your the nesting die shapes that you want to use. And you can really use any shape. I'm going to choose to use circles. These are new to Close to My Heart, and they are our shaker box circles. And the reason I like them is just because they're so large. So while this is actually going to punch out all these little stars, I'm not going to need them. So I'm just going to center that, and you always want to, when you start doing your nesting, you want to be working on the panel that's between these two score lines. So your 1/2 inch and then that 5 1/2. So I'm just going to center that, or wherever I want it. I may push it down just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my Raggedy We Are Memory Keepers Evolution die cut. This is actually, I love this one because it's no sandwiching of layers. It's got a knob on the side that's preset for embossing, die cutting. It's even got letterpress capabilities. So just ran that through there. It's got suction thingies on the bottom so it stays in place. Then I'm going to gently, believe it or not, wash, even though it's supposed to pull off the cardstock pretty easily. Sometimes it just doesn't. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the piece of B&T or other cardstock that's just that single piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 that you scored at 1/4 inch from both sides. You're going to take it and we're going to put this over it. And how that works is if you'll line up that score line with that score line and that score line with that score line, then you should be able to center your other nesting, your smaller shape in the middle. Oh, and this is going to be cool because it's a canary yellow or lemon, and we're punching stars out of it. So that's going to be neat. Here's from last night, the stars that stuck to my mat. Let's clear those off. And the reason Close to My Heart made this die cut shape, and it's the shaker, is because all these little things become now confetti that you can either use as accents on your project or you can actually use in your shaker box. So I'm going to lay that down there. And you know, I don't know, I've seen some people that actually turn the die cut up so it's cutting toward the self-healing mat, and then sometimes I just do it down because that's just the way I've done it. I don't think it really matters. Either way, you're going to get all marked up. Okay. So we are done with our die cut machine. And see, all those little things pop out nicely, and then you got all those stars. Be careful when peeling that off. Okay, so now we've got the card base, we've got the box taking shape, and then now we have this nesting. So if you'll put those on top of each other, you see how perfectly nested that is. And once we get through with adhering all the tabs that we've created, it'll create that 3D effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because this back portion of this is going to show through, see where I have that black and white striped paper, I'm going to want to either stamp on that or find some B&T to cover that up. Let's see what my complements have. So the way complements go is that they're usually get 2 sheets of cardstock weight stickers, and then you usually get some sort of chipboard or something like that. Some are kind of plastic. I don't know. There's just different kinds depending on what the paper packet is. But then it comes with this nifty little reference guide. So, let's see. I could put, but that's going to be a little bit large. You know, if I were to actually put Happy Day, I think Happy Thoughts. Okay, so figured it out. So we have these little M-size stamp sets, perfect. Currently they're $2.99. September 1st they'll go up to $3.99. But they are just perfect size. Some are sentiment, some are background stamps. So I'm going to take this little cross or plus or whatever, and I'm going to try to do, let's stamp it in Pixie. So I'm just going to random stamp all of this back here. And it doesn't matter on this because the majority of it's hidden. The only thing that shows is the little circle cutout that you did. So I mean, you can go all the way to the edge if you want. I think that's going to be enough. And then I think I'm going to put this sentiment in after we construct the card. That way I can make sure that it's centered. So one of the things that Jennifer McGuire suggests is using like some sort of heavy strip adhesive. So like the red score line tape would work. Something like this. I actually found that our liquid glass works pretty well. And then I actually have a very, very strong adhesive that works. It's a tape adhesive, tape runner. The thing with liquid glass is that, you know, there's a slight drying time, but nothing major. So I'm just running the adhesive off the camera. No need to see me do that. So we're only going to be putting the adhesive on the bottom portion right now. So the bottom. And this little tab, of course, is the top. This is the bottom. And so if you were to open it like this, so here's the little tab that's the top. Here's the stamped image that becomes the back of the card. Here's the bottom. You're going to line it up to that first score line that you come to, which is actually the 6-inch score line that we did. And you just want to make sure that that closes. You know, sometimes you get it too close to that line, it closes weird. So then when you open it, that becomes that first little step up. Can y'all see it? So all I did was I lined that up to that first score line and then closed it flat like this. You'll see that this is off center, but when I closed it, then it grabbed that little tab and made it the first page, I guess you will. So then the next thing I'm going to do is adhere it to my base. And Jennifer did this quite different ways. So once you get the hang of this, or even if you want to go search Jennifer McGuire and check out her videos, she did them a couple of ways. So I'm taking my base that I made, and on the one that we cut the 1/2 inch off from, so that's the base, this is the card front, this is the base. Just a pencil from last night's card. I'm going to be gluing this down on top of here. So I'm just going to run my tape runner adhesive all over the back of that base of the card. And again, you can use whatever adhesive that you're used to, as long as it's a pretty strong adhesive. You do not want this coming up. So again, this is the shorter edge. This is the back of the base that we stamped, that you'll be able to see through the die cut images. And again, you kind of want to make sure that this goes right up to that score line, but you want to make sure that you're still able to shut it. And if you're a card maker, you'll know what I'm talking about.
After your video, can I do my video?
Maybe.
Can I just pack up some toys?
Maybe.
Mama.
So then I just sit there and I just make sure
Do you have an empty box?
that it's really creased. You can use your bone folder to do this. Usually my fingers are pretty strong. Okay, so see how you can see that stamped image behind there? And so we've got this. So now what we're going to try to do is start to glue these flaps down so it'll actually make the box. So here is where you would want to. Now, if I was actually going to cover this entire panel with B&T, I would have wanted to do that before I did the die cut. But if you're going to stamp, then here is where you would want to do that. So I'm going to take a look. I apologize, I probably should have done this before. I want to take a look and see maybe a stamp set that I have that I can just random stamp. Yeah, let's do these hearts. So this is the hearts background, and it was a hostess reward. And so how that works is if you reach a qualifying order for being a hostess with Close to My Heart, you can use your free reward dollars to purchase certain stamp sets, and they're only available to hostesses. So I just thought that this was cute. This is the first time I'm using it. That's why I'm kind of seasoning it with my hands. People do it different ways. I just do it, you know, with the oil of my hands. and then I'll spray it with my stamp cleaner, and then just run it on my my pad. So let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm sure I have a piece of paper laying around here. Yes, I do. Okay, so I use Pixie there. We've got the lemon. We're going to have the mint color in the sentiment and the cacti. So I think what I'll do is I will use, no, I think I'll still use lemon. I think lemon would look good. And I know they're hearts. I think that's going to be okay, right? Well, here goes. Okay, I'm not going to worry about masking anything off right now. Something got on my ink pad. Okay, we're gonna have to cover that up. I don't know what that is. And then this is gonna be hidden, so I'm not gonna worry about this little flap. I'm not gonna mask that. This bottom, though, is not hidden. Can you see that? I don't know what happened. Okay, so it's taking shape. So now what we do is we run adhesive. And that should fit right to the edge of our white piece. And so looky there. So you see, it's coming together. And then you're going to run adhesive on your little your half-inch piece that has served as the top of our project for forever. And you just lay it down after you have your adhesive, your desired adhesive on there. You just lay it down at that fold. And then just fold over. And make sure that that's really, really sticking. However you want to do that. Okay, so here's our card. So it folds nice, just like a standard size card. We'll decorate the front, and then when you pick it up, you've got the tunnel. So now let's decorate. So remember, I thought I'm going to do this. Think happy thoughts. No, actually, yeah, I don't know if that would work. Kind of like, okay, so there we go. And then you're just going to add whatever cacti that you want to add. So I like this one. Now the thing about these stickies is you're going to have to take the sticky off. You just want to take it off of the top portion, and how I do that is just by baby powder. And I've got that, and then I can use, let's use this darker green color. And you just kind of eyeball where the sticky needs to come off. So it needs to come off this shaft and that little part right there. So again, I'm just using baby powder.
Baby powder.
I don't want to cover up too much of my thoughts. So I actually probably won't do that. Okay, so cancel that. Stick that back on the carrier sheet. So we may do this one. Yeah. So you just see what's not going to be stuck in there. So anything popping out of these, we've got some hearts. So some of them you can actually adhere to here instead of, you know, the bottom portion. And I would do that as a really strong adhesive. So I'm going to use liquid glass. It'll come out. It's only going to hang by a little bit, you know, see? So I kind of want that really strong. So anything that creates that 3D look. I'm going to let that dry just a little bit before. Okay, so another thing that Jennifer did is she always saved whatever she punched out of here, and a lot of times she used it on the cover. So I think I'm going to try that. I think it would be, you know, I kind of wish it was yellow. Maybe I could sponge it. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I just used liquid glass again to get adhesive all in those little cracks, and I'm just gonna put it, I'm gonna kind of off center it just a little bit to the right. That'll serve as our sun or our whatever it is. Then I'm going to try to reapply the sticky that I took off of this cactus that I was going to use on the inside. This card already has enough bulk, and so the use of like 3D foam tape or something like that is really not necessary. So then I'm going to add, it's a little too big. What can I add? What can I add? Okay, So being that my inside sentiment says think happy thoughts, I'm going to say that this is probably going to be like a congratulatory card or something. So I'm going to put hooray on there. And then I'm going to grab just a whole lot of my sequins and my baubles. And see what I can use on here. Okay, so I kind of like these. It's got the flower. This came from Making Waves. And it's got the flower sequin, so I think that that will accomplish what I was trying to do with that stickies that was just way too big. So I'm just going to use my non-stick scissors over here. And yeah, I'm going to use the blue one. It doesn't show up as well as I would like, but it's okay. So I'm going to use that sequence there, and then, you know, I think that's it. Some little bitty. Guess I could create stickies off of that one, so I'm going to apply. I keep a pen in my liquid glass, and so it's rusted all in there. I don't use liquid glass on photos, so I don't think that rust actually is going to hurt. I don't think it's strong enough to seep through anything else near the photos. So I'm going to put that one there. And then I'm going to take another big one. I don't want it there. No, I may just leave that. It's kind of, you know, it doesn't have that third thing, but it just may have to work. Okay, and then I'm going to come up with some way to take care of that. That just makes me so mad. And then I'm just going to take a white gel pen, and I'm going to doodle around the front of the card. It's just kind of blah. You know, had I thought about it, I probably would have done maybe some score lines. Close to my heart cardstock is white core, and so if you score and then sand over it, you can see the white core come through. And it's not white, but it's just enough of that subtle break in color that I think that that would have been cute. So usually when I doodle, I just do 2 lines, very messy. They don't have to be straight or anything. Sometimes I create a whole lot of separation, like I just did there. And sometimes I like to stay pretty tight to the line. And then where the lines meet, I draw heartstrings. So it's tied with heartstrings. So I'm going to do it right there. Okay, see how that just added just so much more? Thank y'all so much for visiting. I hope you'll make your own. I hope you'll go look up Jennifer McGuire and see all the fabulous, I mean hers are like 20 times better than this one, but if you'll just see the fabulous artwork she's created, and she kind of shows you some more options the side fold card, which I did one. So here's my side fold card. So it just opens on the side. Basically the same thing, just a few little quirky things here and there. And so again, here's this one. Hooray on the front. Being that it says think happy thoughts, this would be perfect for a good luck card or anything like that. And again, I'm going to have to find something to hide that color. But I will do it and probably post the results on my blog. Again, if you'd like to shop any of these products, there's my website, scrapandkatie.ctmh.com, and then my blog, scrapandkatie.blogspot.com. Thank you so much. Bye.